Right, so this is a formal upright ash tree. It's been in this pot for probably 3 years. It's just a little seed tray training pot. So we're going to take it out and have a look at it, see what the root mass is like, see if I can get it into one of these pots that I cleaned earlier and prepped. So let's take it out of the pot and see what we've got. They normally have quite a nice fine root system, feeder system. So it's actually tied into the pot, this one, so just need to grab the wire from around the trunk there. That's it. Oh, I can see a massive, great big root there, which might not be in the right spot for us, but right, let's get that out of there. There we go. Just put that to one side. Right, so as you can see, they do produce a massive root, ash trees. They're one of the only trees I know that really put out fine feeder roots all on their own, really. You don't have to do too much to them. I just tend to put them in the pot and let them get on with it. Right, let me just put that to one side. I'm just going to get rid of these bits of grit. I'll use those again later. Right, let's rake this out and see what we get. So most people recommend you rake from the centre outwards. I found over the years it's personal preference. Sometimes it works really well, like this side here is raking out extremely easily from the centre. This side is a bit more matted, so it's giving up a bit more resistance, so might have to attack that from underneath. Just shake that. And then basically we just break up some of these roots here, then everything else should fall away nicely. And the good thing with ash trees that I've found is they put on masses and masses and masses of root. It's hard to get the ramification. I found it's hard to get ramification in the actual tree itself. That takes a long time in my experience, but the actual roots for giving you fine feeder roots is one of the easiest trees in the world. They just basically look after themselves. I tend to pot most of mine when I'm training them. I put them in deep pots, so you get a big root system on them, and I found that basically they look after themselves. You water them when they need it, and they do all the growing themselves basically. If you're just starting on bonsai and you're living in the northern hemisphere, the European ash is a very good tree to start with, I find. As I say, I haven't had any trouble with any sorts of pests or diseases really. They're a tree that you can put in a pot and almost forget. So if you don't water them, then like any tree they're going to die. But as you can see on this one, it's got a very strong root system on one side of the tree, which has produced all of this massive root here. That's the tap root, as you can see. It just bends over and goes around to the side. This side of the tree hasn't put as much out, but there's still enough there. If I leave those as they are, they're going to make two nice surface roots there in future. Let's pull that one out there. That one could also give me a nice root to work with. There we go. Where's that coming from? It's coming from a bit further round. Let's take that one off. Right. So, a good idea with these is to sometimes dunk them in a bucket of water, so you can get all the dirt out between the roots. So that's really compact in there. That's a massive, great big taproot. So that obviously hasn't had any work done on it in the time it's been in the pot. Let me just give it a wash. We'll see what we can see. Fill up another bucket with some water. That's it. Let's give it a good wash. That's left most of the dirt in that bucket. Into the clean one. Give it a nice little shake up and down. There we go. Shake off some of the water. Now there we go. One nice clean root ball. And as you can see, where the taproot is, that's where we got that massive root. We've got a couple of larger roots coming off of this main root here. So let's see if we can tease those out. This is a bit of a knot here. This is the one of the problems with ash trees. If you don't repot them on a regular basis, you could repot ashes every year, in my experience. Then just get rid of this soil, and then we can have a clean tray to work with. There we go. Right, let's just retrieve my root hook that I've dropped on the floor. There we go. Right, so let's have a look. Right, so I'm thinking I'm going to do away with the main taproot, and we'll see what we've got left, because I've got a nice strong root that side. There's a strong root there. This root bifurcates into two stronger roots as well. So let me grab some cutters and we'll chop that main root. I've just had to put all of the tools back in the greenhouse because we had a sharp shower just now. So that drove me into the greenhouse for 10 minutes. Still grey and overcast at the moment, so hopefully the main rain cloud is gone. There's a couple of fairly dark grey clouds, but they don't look too threatening at the moment, so with a bit of luck we'll have enough time to get this done. So let's find a big old pair of shears. Oh no, they're not going to be. Let's go for the actual side cutters. They'll do it. Right, so there's a root just coming out there, which I'll use as well because it's got some feeder root on it. There's a big gap where there are no roots, so I'm going to go as close to there as I can. Chop that. Now it's just a question of easing this out, seeing what we've got left. So that's the tap root and the amount of root that it can put out. So let's just tidy this up so we've got a flatter base. I may have to sacrifice that root actually. It's not. That's better. That's a nice flat base to the root ball. So as you can see, it sits up well on its own. So this would be the type of tree where I've talked about tying trees in the past. But if you get a pot where the roots fit in around the edge like that, and it makes a snug fit, you wouldn't necessarily need to tie this tree in. Just depends how high in the pot you plant it and how deep a pot you use. So I've got a few pots ready at the moment. Let me have a quick look at some of these other roots, see what's going on with them. So that one there is a nice secondary root coming off of that main one. That'll be a nice surface root in time. Right, so for the size of the tree, I'm going to reduce this root mass on this one a little bit, because you've got this about 1 inch where it bends. Just going to cut that back a bit. That'll help fit it into the pot. But as you can see, there's masses of root on there. That's going to keep the tree well alive. Then they're fairly radial. There's a couple of small ones here which are a little bit high on the root plane, so we'll take those out. There's this one that's right underneath that main root, that can come out as well. Let's just tidy that up under there for the moment. Try and get some better roots for the future. There we go, that's better. That's it. Oh, I can feel the rain coming again. That's a pity. Right. Oh, that was stupid. Just broken off a root. Great. Right, let's tidy that up. Something I didn't want to do, but we've still got plenty of root on there. That's going to survive. So let's try and find a nice pot for this. I'm thinking I want a fairly deep one. Wow, that could have worked out straight away. That's not too bad. This one's probably a bit big and a bit shallow. Although that does look nice in there if I mound that up a little bit. That's a nice proportion. So that's one to keep on the one side. This one, nice colour, good depth. A little bit short, just a bit shorter than that one. Yep. So it's going to be that one, or it's going to be the Walsall Ceramics one then. So it's going to need a fairly long pot to maintain the tree ratio. That looks okay, but I'm going to save that for a better tree. That pot deserves a better tree than this one. So this is only in training at the moment. I think I'm going to go with that one. It's got a couple of holes in there to tie it in with. So let's have a piece of wire. And those should be okay to cut that. So yeah, that's going to be enough. Right, so when you tie a tree in, obviously if you've got these tying holes, it makes life so much easier. Otherwise you have to go round the actual pot and it never looks nice. So just bend them out of the way for a moment. Right, so let's grab foil. Just going to put it back in the same soil that it came out of the pot in. Right, so it's going to be okay, so that can come across there. Just move that out of those roots, that's it. So this one I'm just going to wind around the trunk of the tree rather than tying it with the two bits of wire together. That's nice and firm in there, that's okay. Right. I just need to get a scoop. Oh, let's just scoop the rest of this up. Take out some of those old wood. Get rid of that. Right, so this has just reminded me that I'm going to have to mix up some new soil for this year. I haven't got any prepared at the moment, which is a little bit silly, but I can make a video of that in the next day or so. I've got some John in this number 3, I think it's number 2 or number 3, I can't remember now. Bought it last year, so I've got some of that, and I've got some Akadama, got some horticultural grits. That's what I normally make my mixes with. It tends to do most of my trees. You can add extra pieces of organic matter such as pine bark or whatever, depending on the tree species, but I'll show you the mix that I use when I come to do it. So that's not too bad. It's quite good. Right. So one thing I will do is I'll just nip off the top apical bud, and that will help to force the energy down the tree. We have a dead nub there which can come off. So what I'm going to try to do this year with this tree is let these 2 branches grow as long as they want. Hopefully I'll get some back budding down here, but if I keep all of this top section trimmed really tight, that's hopefully going to force out some more buds for me. Say at the moment all of the branches are roughly the same sort of thickness, so I really need these to thicken up a lot more than these. They need to be longer as well. They're a little bit high up the tree as well. But at the moment, if I let the main leader continue, so if I can get a little bit more tapering into it, if I probably go another 4 inches taller, then that's going to bring the proportions back together. So that's okay for that one at the moment. So we can put that in a nice sheltered spot for now. I'll give it a water, top dress it with some gravel or some moss. I mainly do gravel on mine. I used to do moss, but I tend to find that with moss it can take over the soil and then it makes it harder to water the trees as well. Right, so that's going to be the end of this video because the rain's coming. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.